Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I'm finally going to talk about it because I know it's been a while. It's just that I've been getting other video ideas, and I wanted to sit down and really talk about it, giving you my full thoughts. Because as you guys know, you know how I be. I'm always on the go, working or running errands a lot. So it kind of makes it kind of hard sometimes to record certain videos that I really want to do because I really want to get into like describing things. But here it is. And here's my thoughts on Isom #1 by Eric July. And I will say this, it felt like episode 1 of a TV show, but, and this is not to insult Eric July, it felt like episode 1 of Arrow. Like, if you guys remember, like when Arrow first started, it was like this gritty kind of episode 1 where after Oliver disappeared, he come back to the city. He's like this vigilante kind of guy or whatever, and he's kind of like getting his bearings back into the city. That's what it kind of felt like. And it felt like Avery was our gateway character, but he also felt like a side character to everyone that's in there. So that was one of those things, and that's what I felt from the first episode of Arrow. And again, that's not insulting, that's just me trying to describe my initial thoughts for the show. And Eric did fall into that trope of promoting the character's comic book suit just for like the last page we actually see him suit up in it, and I hate when they do that. And that's just not Eric. That's just not just Eric July thing. That's just any kind of trope when they bring in a new superhero and then literally the last episode, the last page is bam, here they go in the costume, and you're just like, no, I wanted his ass to be in the costume for at least most of the story. That's just my personal opinion. But as you guys know, like Eric described with Avery, he lives out the outskirts of Texas, and his sister called and she said she needs his help. And Jasmine, the daughter of Mrs. Newman, she was scheduled to work at her company. I don't know if that's her company or not. I mean, I know she is a high level executive there. She went missing, and she asked him, can you go? I guess Miss Newman is a family friend, and you know, of course, Avery isn't gonna, you know, turn down anything, you know what I'm saying? And of course he goes because it's his sister, and because, you know, he doesn't want Mrs. Newman, you know, to get mad at him. He decides to go back into the city, and he told Sam, who I guess helps him run his farm outside of the city, that he'll be back. He's going to go take some care of some business. And he goes into the city, and of course we jump to the scene where people are attacking unknown mistress, and then we see Yara. Now Yara is so cool, and Eric, I don't think Eric knew what he had done when he created her, because I'm so interested in her right now. Like, I was so mad that she only showed up for a little bit in the damn thing. And then he did the same thing too. She has the costume, and she doesn't even have that costume in the comic book. And I'm like, Eric, are you kidding me right now? No, I wanted to see her with that costume. But I will tell you one thing too, is that you gonna have to definitely give me a Yara solo series, or she better be a little bit more prevalent in Isom #2. I'm sorry, you can't introduce this gorgeous character and expect me to just be like, yeah, this makes sense. And of course she was going against you know, the team Alpha Core, Alpha Core, and she's just like, oh, I wish you guys leave me alone or whatever. So you know, once that kind of jumps to that one, we go back to Avery, and he goes to Club Miro, where his old friend Darian is, and he asks him questions about whatever, and Of course, Darian doesn't like that he's trying to accuse him of anything or whatever. And then he was like, I'm, you can't question me or any of that kind of stuff. But he's a little slick at the mouth with Avery, and Avery don't like that disrespect or whatever, stuff like that. And he told the security, hey, hand him out or whatever and stuff like that. And of course, Avery kind of beat up some of the guys or whatever, to show him that he's not playing around. And he was like, hey, and then of course Darian was like, hey, you don't get to come up here and try to tell me what's going on. First off, this is a big night for me. I'm making money, and hey, you gonna get up out of here. And then he gets this big, huge man who beat the hell out of Avery and kicked him out of the club. And of course, him getting tossed into the air by the big guy, and he gets knocked into Yara. Yara thinking that he works, that he's with Alpha Core, and they all think that he thinks that she's part of the gang that Darian has. She thinks that he's part of Alpha Core, and they kind of fight a little bit, and she kind of flies him off or whatever. And then she was like, hey, here's a message that you can send to Alpha Core. And then she drops him down, and of course he tries his best to recoil, but that kind of hit, he lands on a car, and he's in the hospital. Sam is discussing things with some of the employees there about hey, helping out on the farm and the land a little bit more. And one of the guys said, sure, I'll help out. And he was like, good, because you're gonna be a good replacement for the boss one day. And of course, the thing, so then Avery sneaks out the hospital. He calls his sister. His sister comes to pick him up. She's like, what the hell is going on? He said, hey, drop me off at this area so I can suit up and stuff like that, and get my bearings ground. And of course he gets messages so he can figure out what's going on with Jasmine. And he's trying to figure out why is Darian so against answering his questions or whatever, but at the same time he also can't take the disrespect that he was going on. We jump to a club where this guy, it looked like he has psychic powers, with this female who looked like she also has some psychic powers, and they talk about the issues that they're having with going on with the projects that they were promised to do or whatever. And it kind of jumps back to Avery. He's outside of Club Miro again, and then he runs into Jasmine. He's asking Jasmine what's going on. She doesn't really want to answer right now. He's like, but hey, Jasmine, I need to talk to you. My sister was worried about you. And of course she was like, leave me alone. And then, of course the guys, there were some guys outside the club. He beats them up or whatever. And then he was like, look, I really don't want to fight, but if you guys insist, don't get mad to what's about to happen to you guys. And he busts into the club. He like, hey, I need, he was like, hey, I ain't here for nobody else. I'm just here to talk to Darian. So, if you guys can go on somewhere or whatever. But, of course, people are like, hell nah, we ain't about to leave and stuff like that. He was like, okay, I warned you. Then he beat him up. And then the big guy that beat him up again came, and he was like, last time I wasn't ready for your ass, but this time I'm ready for you. And then they start fighting. It's kind of cool. It's like a little epic fight again. And Avery was able to use the momentum of the force when he was getting tossed, and using the power to like knock him out. And of course, the cops think that he's the cause of everything. He's like, no, it's not me. It's Darian. And he was like, damn it, he don't have time for this. So he had to start running. And because he starts running away from the cops, he gets to his truck, and he heads to his sister's house. And then he explained everything to his sister that they found Jasmine. It looks like she's in deep with Darian. He got something on her maybe, and And she said, damn it, she figured Darian had reached, but never this far. And then of course her daughter come in, and they kind of talk about what was about to happen. But of course, um, his sister's daughter comes in, and she asks him to come pick him up or whatever, so they can go in. And it's told that his sister's husband kind of died or whatever. So it's just them two for right now. And the niece reveals that, hey, I know that you got superpowers. And he was like, how are you very persistent? And then she was like, well, because everybody really can't pick me up over time, but you never really had any problem or whatever. And then he was like, yeah. He was like, but we'll talk about it later. And of course, he mentions this to his sister. He's like, she's just so too smart for her own kind. And then she was like, look at this. And then she pulls up video footage where Jasmine was on her way, and then it looked like she got a phone call, and that kind of sent her to leave. And then she's thinking like, could it be some drugs, or could it be blackmail? Could it be some debt that she's owed? And Avery was like, well, technically I really don't give a damn. He's like, but honestly, I'm not really caring about what's going on with Jasmine, but Darian, he gonna answer for that disrespect. So that's what really what's happening right now. And they explain everything that's going on. Then it jumps to Darian talking to all of the people they have in company about the plans that they're going to have. And oh my lord, and how they're going to move forward. They're going to move forward, and how there's a memo that are reminding people that certain things ain't off limits, whatever that is. So we gonna see what's gonna happen. Then Avery, he goes to a place where he talks to a guy, where he goes to Taylorsville. Lord have mercy. And I guess this is the guy who creates a lot of the superhero costumes or fittings or whatever. So he decides to talk to him about his costume. He was like, when I gave you the costume back, he was like, I didn't think I was gonna have to wear it again or whatever. But he was like, hey, this is great, because now we can get some suit measurements. We can add a little bit more thing. And then he said, well, you can't have it back because we're going to have to make some changes. And then he asked, what do you need? He was like, absorb damage fall. And he said, well, you're going to try this suit on, and we're going to try to see how it fits. And then of course, Avery goes to change, and then he was like, it still fits. And then that was just like a to be continued thing. And then of course, somewhere near Florida, where you see this band, they're rocking out or whatever. And I think this is inspiration because if you guys don't know, Eric is like a rock star. I mean, not a rock star, but he does alternative metal music, I believe. I forgot what he said the name of his band was. And this is like a callback to that, because he has these people, they're singing, and it looks like they're absorbing people's powers or damage or something like that, which is pretty interesting. That's what I'm saying. Like Darian, Yara, and these people called the Northfinkins, or Noricans, like it's like Norse African people, if that makes sense. And I'm kind of interested in seeing what they're going to. I had said before that I said that it's going to have something to do with Norse mythology and African mythology, because that's what's happening, and it looks like we're going to get a band that's based on that one. And of course, number 2 is Ill-Advised Part 2. So I can't wait to see it. And of course, that's really it from Isom number 1. Now, it was a decent start, But I hope number 2 steps up, because I kind of want to see a little bit more action. That's just my personal opinion, especially when it's a number one issue. But I will say, at least he's giving us a little bit more than most issue number ones from indie books, because I've read some indie books, and there's a setup, but then there's really nothing to follow up on unless you get issue number 2. But again, when issue number 1 and issue number 2 are like months or years apart, depending on who the indie comic book is, it's kind of hard to really get into it or whatever. But I kind of want to know more about Alpha Core. I want to know more about Yara. I want to know more about Darien, and I want to know about more of the Norficans. That's what I want to know more about. And I understand, Eric made Isom, that's his main character, but honestly, I'm sorry, Eric, you made other characters more interesting than your main character. That's just the truth right now, and I'm really excited to see those characters. I'm really excited to learn more, so I can't wait for Isom number 2 just so I can see that. But I know one thing you should do is you better give me something with Yara, like ASAP Rocky, because this cannot stand. You cannot show me this character and don't give me nothing to follow up on. I need to know more about Yara, like ASAP Rocky. The designs that you showed of her is amazing. The bluey glow power is really cool. I'm getting Wonder Woman vibes from her, sort of. So I'm excited. I want to see what she's going to do, like, now. Like, come on, let's go. But it's an overall okay issue. It's not the best issue, but you can see the influence of comic books on Eric July. So I just say, hey, we gonna see what happens with issue number 2, and we'll go from there. But that's really my thoughts of Isom number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed the book. Holy fuck, Jesus Christ. I hope you guys enjoyed the book. I hope to see more from Isom number 2. We're doing better than what DC and Marvel's giving us. I can definitely tell you that. So, hey, DC, Marvel, Image, all y'all, y'all got to step y'all games up, because if we're selling books like what Eric July was selling for Isom number 1, y'all gonna be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? There's some other comic books, indie comic books, that I want to get into, that I will get into. It's just that I haven't had the time to read some books, but once I read them, I'm going to also talk about them as well. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.